So I don't know why they've decided to do that. So that's going to bunch all the cars up. And Max Verstappen's lead is going to go from 15 seconds down to 1 to 2 seconds. It won't make any difference. His car, his feel for the track, everything is just, it's crazy. Lewis Hamilton, the car is just sliding around everywhere. I don't know. It just feels like something is broken. It's probably just the balance. It's really bad. And he's complaining about that while he's doing 1/3 of the normal speed around the racetrack. How can he even feel that at that speed? Who knows? So right now, let's run down the running order. Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc, Perez, Piastri, Sainz, Alonso, Russell, Ricciardo, all the way up there at 9th. Stroll, Sargent, whoa, look at that, Sargent, 11th. Hulkenberg, Ocon, Hamilton at 14th. Magnussen, Tsunoda, Albon, all the way down in 17th. That is strange. Joe Granu, Pierre Gasly, and Bottas, because Bottas is out because of power pack failure. You know, I would say McLaren's probably the team with the most improvements this year. They've done a really, really good job. Last year it was Aston Martin, and then Williams. This year, I don't know what has happened to Williams. They've lost their way. But it's only the 5th race of a 24 race season. There's a long way to go, folks. We're watching the replay for Joe Granu, and problems with the right front wheel, and he's out. But he was stopped for 5.3 seconds. 5.3 seconds in Formula One racing is a long, long way. Imagine this. You're doing 200 miles an hour, right? Now count off 5.3 seconds, and you'll realize how far that is. It's crazy. But the safety car is out, and I can't imagine why the safety car is out. Anyway, we've got another commercial break. So let's take this one, and I will be back in just a few moments. We are at lap 25 of 56. So we're pretty close we're getting close to halfway through, folks. Unfortunately, today, we've been watching cars go around and around in circles. It can get better. Let's keep our fingers crossed. And I will be back in just a few moments. Okay, and we are back, and the safety car has come off after a couple of laps. And so Max Verstappen will lead a restart ahead of Norris, Leclerc, Perez, and Sainz. They are the top 5, and he is gone. He is gone, folks. He is gone. He is already 1 to 2 seconds ahead. Well, I got it right. 1 second ahead of Lando Norris by the end of the first straightaway. And he is gaining. It's crazy. Not again. We've got another commercial, folks, but we will be right back. So we are back, and we are just in time to watch Yuki Tsunoda have his left rear tire wiped out by Kevin Magnussen in the Haas. And looking at his wheel rim, that's not the only thing that's wiped out. So Yuki Tsunoda's day is done, and we're back to another safety car. Very interesting. So when we left you just 2 laps ago, we come back to another safety car 2 laps later. In those 2 laps, Verstappen put up nearly a 2-second lead on second place Norris. Perez, by the way, has moved up nicely. Who is Eileen Gu, 2-time Olympic gold medalist. You know what the problem with growing old is? They put all these young faces on the screen. I have no idea who they are. Well, so, because my beautiful twins were swimmers, I do recognize some of the Olympian swimmers. But other than that, I have no idea. Rock stars? No idea. Now, you put up, somebody like Chris Christopherson. Yeah, can recognize him. Paul McCartney. Yeah, I can recognize him. Even some of the younger ones. George Strait. Yeah, he's only 60. No, he's 62. I can recognize him. There's a couple of the younger ones that I would recognize. But some of these others, I have no idea. And they keep putting them up here on the screen like I'm supposed to know who they are. How am I supposed to know who these people are? Anyway, I'm glad that all the young folks that are watching Formula One recognize all these famous faces. I'm creating trouble here for my new technical genius, Kira Bowling, by having that sound out there. She's got to figure out a way to get rid of it. She can maybe block off that last part. Who knows? It's up to her. Anyway, we've got 29 laps of 56 completed. And quite frankly, folks, there's not one surprise out there. Not one surprise. Maybe the fact that, Hamilton's made his way all the way up to 11th, right? The dual Williams teams are 13th and 14th. The only surprise there is that Sargent is at 14th. Lance Stroll, all the way back in 18th, no surprise. Alonso at 5th, no surprise. But the rest of the field, it just seems like it's follow the leader. And the leader's Max Verstappen. And here's the point, folks. They can't even see him. He's so far ahead of them They can't follow the leader because the leader is just so far out there. Looks like we're getting ready for another, sorry folks, another commercial break, and that means I will be back in 2 to 3 laps from now. Okay folks, and we are back just in time to see another safety car. They got not half a lap completed of going away from a safety car. Then we got another safety car because Mr. Wreck-It, Lance Stroll ran up the rear end of Danny Ricciardo, probably ended Danny Ricciardo's day, which means that both of the Team 2 Red Bull, which last year was AlphaTauri, Lance Stroll just literally ran up the rear end of Danny Ricciardo's car and sent it sailing. Well, alright, I exaggerate. He pushed the rear end up probably 2-3 feet into the air. We're back at another safety car. So the last 6, 8, 10 laps have been dominated by safety cars due to, I'm going to say, just careless driving. I mean, Lance Stroll, there's no way that he should have run up behind and put Ricciardo out of the race. There's no way that Magnussen should have put Tsunoda out of the race. I mean, these are just careless mistakes these guys are making. It's just crazy. As we watch the multi-billionaire Mr. Lando Norris on the screen, not happy at all. Here, Verstappen saying he's complaining about marbles on the track. So marbles are little round rubber balls that collect on the track from the scrubbing of the tires on the track, and they create these tiny little marbles. When a race car hits them, it is like hitting ice. I mean, there is no grip, there is nothing. So they have to be very, very careful because all of a sudden they go from sure grip to no grip when they hit those marbles. So they got to watch their driving lines very carefully as we watch the car of Max Verstappen getting ready for a restart. The safety car will enter the pits as it goes by this time. So we got Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc, Perez, Alonso, all the top 5 yet again. And they're still showing Danny Ricciardo in 9th position. So if he was able to maintain that after that bump that he took in the rear end, that would be incredible. We're now on lap 32 of 56, and Max Verstappen is gone, folks. He's just gone. He's all the way at the end of the straight. He's already got a 1-second lead on Norris. Actually, I correct myself. It's 0.84 seconds. That's as close to a 1-second lead as you can get. Leclerc is 1.7 seconds behind Verstappen. Perez is 2.4 seconds. Alonso is 2.8. So between second, third, and fourth, not a lot of time. And when we get DRS back, we will probably see some changes in that order. But right now, that's the way it is. Let's see what's going on in the back of the field. Hamilton's held on. So Ricciardo has dropped back to 10th behind Hülkenberg after that little incident. So I'm probably thinking he's going to have to retire that car, as it's just not going to give him the performance he wants after being rear-ended like that. And that's a sad part, because the guy that rear-ended him, Magnussen, well, he's back in 17th. But really, I think to stop stupid incidents like that, maybe Formula One needs to introduce a rule. If you rear-end another car, you're out. No matter what you did to the car in front. If you're stupid enough to rear-end another car, you're out. Because there's just no reason, especially under a caution flag, to be that close to the car in front of you. As we see that Max Verstappen just took the fastest lap. He has cleared now the 1 second mark. Now I've got no rear on exit. So some damage to that car when he was rear-ended. I can't imagine what it would be though. Because where he was rear-ended, I can imagine damage to the transmission and stuff like that. Maybe damage to the alignment, could well be. But that would seem, kind of strange. But he's losing. That's why he's complaining. He's losing places one after the other. He's down into 13th now. Lance Stroll, where are you? Lance Stroll is in 18th, where he should really be off the track really altogether. Logan Sargent just got a penalty of 10 seconds. Whoa! Ricciardo now has dropped back to 18th, and Sargent will drop back to 18th. He will take that place of Ricciardo in just a few minutes. But I would suggest that now that Ricciardo is probably going to drop out of this race. Penalty for Lance Stroll for banging into Ricciardo, 10 seconds. So Lance Stroll now is, he's dead last, isn't he? As I suggested, Ricciardo's in the pits, and don't be surprised if he does not come out. Kevin Magnussen, penalty. How much has he got? 10 seconds. I don't know why they bother. All these guys are already in the bottom 15, Well, they have to do it. They got to send a message, right? But really, they're all just going to be back there 20 seconds behind everybody, racing each other. So the last 4 you've got now is Gasly, Joe Granu, Magnussen, and Stroll. Ricciardo is still in the pits. Ricciardo will not come out of the pits because his day is over. As we go into lap 36 of 56, we've got 20 laps left, and we have no more of an exciting race than we did after the first 2 corners. That's right, because we've got Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc, Perez, and Alonso, your top 5, which is the way we started the race. They've just swapped positions a few times. Verstappen now is putting distance between himself and Norris. And Norris has put distance between himself and Leclerc has put distance between himself and Perez. I think not too much is going to change in the next 10 to 15 laps. And so try and keep this Formula One news hour inside the news hour range. And Danny Ricciardo, before we go, has retired from the race after that, how would we say, unfortunate mishap from Lance Stroll. It's sad. A guy like that, who has more wrecks than anybody, is still allowed to race in Formula One. Strange. Okay, folks, I'm back. We are at lap 45 of 56. There's been a slight change. A few laps ago, Alonso stopped for tyres. He was on soft and has gone to the mediums. So we've got the Ferraris in 4th and 5th versus the top 5 being Verstappen, Norris, Perez, Leclerc and Alonso. Lewis Hamilton is having quite a nice day, folks. He's up into 8th place. The question is, can he catch Oscar Piastri, the young Australian driver, in 7th place? Alonso has moved up into 11th place. Oh, and Alonso just took over the fastest lap from Max Verstappen. So those new tyres, which are about 3-4 laps old now, have paid off for him. We are trying to get the Formula One news hour into 1 hour. I can talk forever. We can go back into 1963, 64, 60, you name it. I can go all the way back. And talking of the 60s, by the way, I don't know if a lot of you noticed, but Max Verstappen equaled a record held by Jim Clark in the Australian Grand Prix. And so the test for all of you folks is, what record did Max Verstappen match that belonged to Jim Clark? Now think about that. Jim Clark set that record back in 1967, and here we are, 47 years later, has just now been equaled. And remember, back in those days, the 1967, 68, there were probably 12 or 9 Grand Prix. Today we got 24, and it took all those years to match that record. So that's your homework for this week, folks. Go find out what record that belonged to Jim Clark did Max Verstappen just equal. He hasn't taken the record away from him yet, although I suspect he might this weekend. But he did equal. So Max Verstappen is going to win this race unless a spaceship comes down, picks his car up off the track and runs away with it, because he is a full 10 seconds ahead of 2nd place with just 9 laps to go. The question is going to be now, can Perez catch Lando Norris, who's in 2nd place, to make it a 1-2 Red Bull again? But certainly Verstappen, Norris, Perez are going to be on the podium, followed by Leclerc and Sainz. So a good week for Ferrari, maybe a good week for Leclerc in that he is able to beat his teammate for the first time in quite a few weeks, as we watch Alonso now move back into points and take the 9th place away from Hülkenberg. And I suspect Alonso will put Hamilton back into 9th place in just a few moments. And again, I've just been hit with another commercial. We have had so many commercials this race that it is unbelievable. And they keep telling me that you're not going to miss anything, but I always come back and it's, 2-3 laps have gone. Whoa, and who was that? That's amazing that he saved that, and not only has saved it, but has managed to stay with it. And in fact, it was Alonso, and he is about to put Hamilton behind him. That was incredible. It was incredible to recover that car, which was almost sideways going through the turn, and now he's put Hamilton back into 9th position. And that is where Hamilton is going to stay. And now he is going to battle Oscar Piastri for 7th position, and he's still got 7 laps to do it. And he's got all these beautiful new wonderful tires, so he is going to do it. And whoa, how he saved that car and kept the momentum. I'll never know. We're on board with him. He goes, and whoa, that was crazy driving driving from an old veteran. That's just incredible. And whoa, they're showing replay after replay, and it is just amazing how he saved that car. His wheels get on the gravel is what happened, and once those wheels touch gravel, there is no grip. It's like you driving on ice. So Alonso just moved past Piastri. And so now Alonso is up to 7th. That's it for his day, folks. He's 11 seconds behind George Russell, and he ain't going to make that up. But an incredible piece of driving by Alonso. So, folks, the Chinese Grand Prix, 5 laps from the end here, will be the following. It will be Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, and Sergio Perez on the podium as we vote for driver of the day saying the story is that Hamilton worked his way up from 19th to 9th. I'm sorry. That car, that driver, if he still had it, he would have worked his way up into the top 5. That had been Max Verstappen starting off at 19. He would have been in first place by lap 35. We saw it last year, folks. It's a combination of car and driver, but I don't think that a lot of us are giving Max Verstappen credit for being the driver that he is. So, as we get close here, we're 4 laps from the end. Verstappen's going to win by 12, 13 seconds. And I'm going to suggest that Verstappen kind of took it easy. If you're going to win by 15 seconds or 2 seconds, it doesn't really matter. Obviously, he's going to win by a lot. Alonso is chasing Russell and is not going to catch him. He's 9 seconds back with 4 seconds left to go. And I just don't think he's got 2 seconds a lap in him. But hey, you never know. The Carlos Sainz being a full 10 seconds out behind his teammate is kind of surprising. Maybe we're looking at team orders here. Just a little fishy. Not into conspiracy theory. But I just think it's weird that Carlos Sainz has dominated Charles Leclerc the first 4 races of this year and a few races from last year. And then all of a sudden, Leclerc is winning. No, that's team orders. Yeah, they got to make Leclerc look good so that they can say, oh, we made the right decision. No, guys, you made the wrong decision. Putting a has-been, let's face it, he's a great guy, he's a nice guy, he's a wonderful guy. As a Formula One racer, he's a has-been. And putting a has-been in the seat of a winner is a dumb move. And Ferrari made a dumb move. As we get closer here to the end, we go down the points. Verstappen's going to get 25, Norris 18, Perez 15, Leclerc 12, Sainz 10, and Hulkenberg is going to get 1 point. Hamilton is going to get 2 points. So he's going to be very happy with that. Not. So as I mentioned, Verstappen's putting 1 to 2 seconds per lap on second place Norris. And we've got to give Perez credit here. He has closed the gap significantly. He's got 4 laps to go and he's got 5 seconds behind. So this might be the most exciting point of the race. Alonso, crazy, has made up incredible time on George Russell, and George Russell is fighting with Hamilton. That's who it is. Can you imagine that? Lewis Hamilton is fighting with a Haas car. Is that how far Mercedes has dropped? They've dropped so far, they're fighting with a Haas car, the same car that got 0 points in the Constructors' Championship last year. And of course, Max Verstappen's just driving around the track saying, is there anybody else out here? Anybody else out here driving race cars? I'm the only guy. And of course, he's probably saying to himself, I'm the only guy because I don't see any other race cars. Unless, of course, every now and then I pass one of these lap cars yet again. Current vote split for driver of the day. Norris, 24. Hamilton, 14. Alonso, 4. Who are these people? Why would you... Hamilton didn't do anything. Oh, he waited from 19th to 9th. Hello? Did you see the cars between 9th and 19th and the drivers? Are you kidding me? Anyway, I'm glad there's a bunch of people out there voting for driver of the day because that means they are watching the Formula One race on Sky Sports, brought to us all in America by ESPN. The winner of the race, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be Max Verstappen. Coming in second for his second podium, Lando Norris. Coming in third, who will make the podium yet again for the 5th time this year, Sergio Perez, maybe providing a good argument for Red Bull to keep him next year. In fact, as we enter the last lap, he's now got a 14-second distance between him and second place car. So if he wants, he can actually just get out of the car and push it over the finish line. They used to do that, back in the 60s. You'd see the drivers every now and then get out of the car and push it across the finish line. They'd run out of fuel or some other things. Sometimes back in the 60s, Jim Clark and those guys, they'd win by not a few seconds. They'd win by minutes. 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes. I mean, in those days, a pit stop could take 45 seconds, minute and a bit. I kid you not. Verstappen comes across the finish line, ladies and gentlemen. The Chinese Grand Prix has ended with, I would say, very little fanfare. A very unexciting, boring kind of race. Nothing for anybody to write home about as we watch the multi-billionaire father of Lando Norris shake hands with everybody and tell him what a great job his son did. And he did. His son did a great job. Hamilton finished 9th, Russell in 6th. Kind of a trend here, guys. Those Mercedes are finishing in the bottom half of the top 10. As Max Verstappen congratulates everybody in his team for putting together a wonderful car. At the bottom end of the field, of the cars running, Logan Sargent was dead last. Then Magnussen, then Joe Granu, and Pierre Gasly. So whoever is running that Alpine team really needs to do some thinking because they got rid of the team principal last year because they couldn't finish outside or inside the top 15. And folks, you've got it. This year so far, they haven't finished inside the top 15. It's a great day at the Formula One News Hour. And we want to thank our sponsors. We want to thank Phenology. Please go to Phenology.com. That's Phenology.com and give them your business. Oh, and by the way, folks, don't forget to tell them that you heard about them right here on the Formula One News Hour. We also want to thank Moms for Liberty. MomsForLiberty.org, my favorite sponsor. They want you to join one of their 300 chapters, create a chapter of your own, maybe and help support them, get the message out. And of course, our friends from Give, Send, Go, who are out there helping folks when they need it most. Yeah, we need help most usually when a disaster struck and we need money to help pay for it. That's where Give, Send, Go comes in. So please go to givesendgo.com. And finally, we want to put a shout out to our friend Sir Jackie Stewart. If you haven't seen our interview with Sir Jackie Stewart, please go to our website or go to any of your favorite podcast sites and listen to the podcast with Sir Jackie Stewart. Lots of really interesting information, especially who's included and excluded by not being mentioned as one of the greats of the Formula One driving world. And finally, thank you to Kira Bowling, her first week bringing you the Formula One News Hour as our both producer and technical guru of everything. Thank you, Kira Bowling. And in the background there now, thank you, Andre Kuhn, for everything you do. So until the next Formula One race, this is Jonathan Steele with the Formula One News Hour saying thanks for joining us, folks. See you next time.